Welcome back to
Real Royalty Talks.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Stacy.
And we are glad to see you guys.
Look at how beautiful you guys look out there.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I love what you did with your hair,
girl. Oh my
girl.
gosh, that's brand new.
So this week we want to talk to you about Dormant Identity. Dormant.
She coming.
I'm
Rebecca's always coming for you, it's fine.
I mean, with love.
With love, always.
So I wanted to start with the definition of dormant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's defined as temporarily devoid of external activity.
Yes.
The fact that it says external better lets y'all know where I'm coming from today. So I wanted to kind of share from a time in my life where my identity was absolutely dormant. I did not even know it was still there. So you guys kind of know already that I am Africa obsessed. I have been since I was in high school. And we talked about how that's something we shared, and something that really started our friendship off on the best foot.
Yeah, it really
did. It did. So I think with my identity, I would absolutely say that I always thought from a super young age, because of the greatness I was exposed to, that I could change the world. And that's not it's not to say I think I'm the bomb, even though I do.
Only Rebecca.
No, it's to say that I really thought that it was possible. And I thought that not because I thought I was great, but because I really believed that God could use me in that way. Not because of me, but because I knew that He loves people so much that there's something really really special He wanted to offer the world.
Right.
And He was even willing to do it through me. Even willing to do it through me. Not because I'm that cool. But there was definitely a season in my life where I did not believe that it was still in the cards for me. Yeah. I kind of, I hit on a little bit of my testimony in the last video, talking about abuse and sometimes pain that can alter the way that you see yourself and see the world around you. So it does. It affects your worth and your self-image. And because I was guilty of a bunch of junk, I thought that where God was calling me and the things that I thought He had for me were
void.
Right, were absolutely void. Not just not within reach, but not for me at all. I thought that I'd surrendered the identity that I had in Christ.
Oh, you all preach today.
No, it's true.
It is.
That's
it's
real.
True. That is real. You want to talk about real? That's real, because not only you have felt that, but I'm sure everybody has felt to some degree exactly what you're talking about today. Right. I know I have.
Because I chose
those things.
I chose vices over what the scripture says God has to offer us. So I thought, because I'm the one who made the decision, that it was just a wrap. I thought that my identity was now in the fact that I wasn't that Rebecca anymore.
So then you acted out of that, right?
I did.
That's what I did.
Absolutely.
That's how I knew her answer.
Yo.
Because
really though.
We all think we're different, but there is something internal that, and we are very different. There's something internal that we all kind of have, and I think what you're saying about like being that, like when you feel that way, you act out of a certain way, and like that's just a human thing. I feel like, yeah, I don't know if I explained that well, but it's okay. Hopefully you guys are catching my drift. Continue, Rebecca.
So when I was coming. Bring up, girl. When I was coming out of that season of my life, I started a blog, and please don't look it up because it was the struggle.
It was not that bad.
But I started a blog and I called it Rebecca's Road to Redemption, and the like subtitle was Becoming Rebecca All Over Again.
Which, plug, Michelle Obama totally stole her title. I'm just kidding.
Michelle, you
Michelle
can borrow
is amazing.
it anytime.
Yeah.
We out here, we're family, girl.
Yes,
it's okay.
yes.
We love Michelle. We do. We love her. But so in that season, I was like, what is Rebecca? And I know who she was, and I know who she was at the time, but I thought that who I always wanted to be was absolutely not an option anymore. Until I realized that Rebecca, my truest identity, without any of the like signs and symptoms of the life I'd walked, without all of those added things, the truest part of who I was couldn't be touched, because your truest identity is spirit. Like your spirit is your truest identity. So what I did to my body, what others did to my body, the behaviors I engaged in that were damaging, like sure, they can damage your like mind. You have to wire your brain to think a certain way. They could damage your physical body, but like the spirit that was inside of me, like my truest self, couldn't be touched. So that part of me was inactive or asleep or devoid of external activity. So even though you weren't seeing the fruit of the person I was internally, you were seeing the fruit of the bad decisions I probably made. But that person was still inside of me. And like when you realize that the things that you do don't make you disqualified, they don't disqualify you from like what God has for you. That is where it's at.
Life-changing.
It is, for sure.
Wow.
Definitely.
I mean, I really identify with that, Rebecca. I think there's, like I said before, I think what we're talking about in these, few episodes about like expectation, identity, dreams deferred, all these types of ideas, I think everybody can relate to them, because everybody's had an expectation put on them, and everybody's had an idea of who they thought that they were going to be and not lived up to it, or not lived up to even your parents' expectations or your friends or your spouses. I don't know, whoever. There's been a case in your life, and so I feel like everybody can identify with this. And for me, I would have to say that was probably when I was a lot younger was the most evident time of this in my life. Probably around the time we met, when we were talking about our youth group days, and for me it really felt as though I grew up, like I said, as a pastor's kid. I knew I had strong role models of like missionaries, and that's, as Becca said, that's what made me want to be a missionary. I saw these amazing missionaries coming through in and out of our church, like in and out of our lives, and I was like, wow, like they are making a difference at the world. And I really believed I could make that same difference. And
I just pause for 1 second. We grew up in a culture where that was normal. So that was what we expected out of ourselves, because we didn't know people like work 9 to 5 and live in the same place their whole lives. Like,
no.
We had no idea that wasn't
normal.
Right. That wasn't how everyone lives. And I would venture to say, like, in other parts of the world, like, you will find people travel constantly. And
Right.
I have tons of friends that are not originally from Buffalo.
Right.
And they've lived in like dozen different countries. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you are from where?
You
like,
speak how many languages?
right. Like, I think that in other places that's much more common. I guess where we're from, it's not, but we genuinely had no idea.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful thing to see people without these geographical boundaries and borders. I think I also grew up with a cultural awareness that maybe some other people didn't, even in the area that I grew up in, because of the things and people I was exposed to and the different mission fields and, you know, things like that. But anyways, that really formed my identity. Knowing that I wanted to do that, knowing that I wanted to serve God in that way, knowing that that's who I was. I didn't know what I was going to do on the mission field. I just knew I was like supposed to be there.
Amen.
Which we talked about, like, that's part of the process, us finding out what we wanted. But in that identity and knowing that, feeling disqualified, feeling unworthy, feeling like you did too many things, I identify with that, Rebecca, especially at that time in life when I talked about this before, going to college. Like, you feel like you're supposed to know, like, what you're going to do, and you feel like you're supposed to understand, like, your whole life plan at this certain time. And I think that really, like, kind of made me feel like I didn't know what I was doing, because I thought, well, I knew I wanted to do this, but I need a major to do this, and I need, like, something to bring, and I didn't know what I had to offer. And so that combined with not feeling like I had made decisions that had disqualified me really affected my passion to go towards it, because I thought that I couldn't behold that anymore.
So we're excited to tell you that if this is where you're at, we're with you. There are still things in our lives that promises that we believe like God's made with us and for us that we have yet to see
come to pass.
Right? And if you are in a place where you're not living what you thought this season of your life would look like, if there are parts of your identity that you feel like you don't get to express, it's still inside of you.
It is.
It's still inside of you, and just because it's inactive or just because there's not external activity doesn't mean that God's not still working inside of you and stirring inside of you. There is fruit of our labor, but not every season is a season of harvest. And so I want to encourage you to still put the work in. Like, still work.
Take the steps.
Behind the scenes. Be encouraged to, if you haven't started, I mean, girl, start. What are you waiting for?
Literally. I mean, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know where to go. Well, we have cameras. You know? That's where we are.
So starting is the absolute hardest part. But it's so beneficial to just get over the first hump. If your identity is dormant, just because you're not seeing the activity right now does not mean that it's not still inside of you. So call out the things inside of you that you want to see and move forward toward those things.
I heard a really great quote once about how people find people who you look up to. I think maybe it was you who told me. Find people who you look up to and qualities in people that you admire. And when you find those qualities, start to integrate those in your life. So I always looked up to my mom for her organizational skills. I was like, I do not have that, and like I need that in time management in my life. Yes. And then I look at dynamic speakers who cultivate certain things in their life, and they have this quality of a way of speaking with people. Start to cultivate those things in your life and pour into those things. So instead of meditating on the things that are that I'm not where I'm at, start taking the one step, even if you feel silly. I feel like the word that I really hear for this, even though the name of our thing is Dormant Identity, I really feel like the end goal of this is stretched capacity. And like, when we can look at where we're at and stretch our capacity upward, like, and start to reach for the things that, and the identity that we have, that's already within us, like she's saying, and we take those steps, we're going to begin to see the fruit of those things. And don't think that does not mean there's going to be opposition. There is always opposition.
Always.
And if there's not opposition and you're like coasting in your life and you're fine,
you're probably not doing it.
You're
right?
probably not doing anything. You're probably, sitting on your couch all day, and of course nothing's gonna come against you.
Right.
But like,
except for gravity.
But yes. So I guess I can't.
Having too much fun.
Yeah, I love it. So just stretch your capacity. Find an area, find a quality in somebody. This is your homework. Find a quality in somebody that you admire, and something that you want to be and you want to see yourself as, and start to do something with that, and start to be like, okay, what step can I take that's within my reach? And then when you go to that step, you'll realize that the thing that was out of reach after you start taking these steps is now in your hand. And so climb that ladder.
Absolutely. That's really good advice. So if we have some dormant identity out there, let us call out the things that are good in you.
Yes.
So you're absolutely worth the work it takes to make your dreams come true.
Yes.
You're absolutely worth the effort. You have something
to offer.
You have something worth presenting to the world.
Yes.
And
your voice matters.
Yeah, we're excited to see where life takes you, and be a part of your journey. But we just wanted to say that you're loved and you're accepted here. You have a seat at our table.
You have a seat.
You do. So whatever we can do to encourage ourselves and the rest of our community to step up in that identity, we are excited to be a part of.
Yes, we are. So subscribe, comment, and let us know where you guys are at. And we are just so happy to be here with you. So follow Real Royalty Talks on Instagram, on Facebook, and subscribe here on YouTube. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you later, Royal Fam.
All right, we out.